And joining us now, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Welcome back to American Ground Radio, my friend.
Hey, great to be with you as always, Stephen.
I want to say congratulations because you have done something that I don't remember the last time a Speaker of the House did this. You got all of the bills, the appropriation bills, through Congress in regular order. There's one that took a little extra time, but you got the spending through it. I don't know if people understand. That's a major accomplishment for the Speaker of the House. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Thanks for acknowledging that. I mean, it's been a problem for a long time that, the reason that we're in such debt as a nation and the reason that the process here has broken down is because Congress has not been doing the really tough job of simple functions. Appropriating federal dollars is an important, essential function of Congress. And it's supposed to be done in 12 separate appropriations bills on a scheduled timeline throughout the year. The problem is, Stephen, before I became Speaker almost 2.5 years ago, that had not been done in a long, long time. And instead, we were being governed by what the dreaded Christmas omnibus bill, which is just a fancy way of saying Congress would kick the can down the road all the way literally until almost Christmas Eve every year, and then cram in one giant spending bill for trillions and trillions of dollars that nobody had read or adequately debated or understood. So I was convicted and convinced that we could change that. And after I became Speaker, we started trying to rebuild the muscle memory. It finally culminated in this year in getting all 12 separate appropriations bills done, negotiated, debated, and put into practice. It's much better stewardship for the country, and we finished that process almost into last week.
And are you guys already working on that same 12-step process for, I hadn't thought of it as a 12-step program, but have you done this as a 12-step program for the government? Have you started that for this next fiscal year?
We have. In fact, next week, you'll have the first series of appropriations bills that are making their way through committee and on the floor for the upcoming fiscal year. And we'll do that on a little bit delayed timetable because the war in Iran and some of these other things happen. But our appropriators have their sleeves rolled up. Everybody's excited and very intentional about doing this, and the Republicans are leading the charge. And this is another example why we have to win the midterms in November, because you have to keep the grown-ups in charge. The only way to get back to fiscal responsibility, fiscal sanity, American energy dominance, American strength on the world stage, and all the other things we've accomplished is if you have Republicans leading the charge, because Democrats have demonstrated they will do the opposite.
Another thing that you got done that hadn't been done since 2018 was the Farm Bill. How did you get that done, and why did it take so long to get a Farm Bill passed?
Well, because it turns out to be a very contentious and sometimes controversial piece of legislation. It's only done every 5 years, and as you noted, we are overdue because it hadn't been done since 2018. We finally got that through. Now, one of the ways we were able to achieve the end goal now, in spite of the weight of the bill, is we got a lot of it done in the one big beautiful bill that we got signed into law last summer in July. We took some of the biggest components of the Farm Bill and squeezed it through that process, Republican-only votes. Because, for example, Democrats have no intention whatsoever of eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse, for example, in the SNAP program and some of these other things. So we had to do that on our own. But having gotten those big issues done and accomplished the big objectives for the American people, it made it a little bit lighter lift to do the rest of the Farm Bill, which I'm happy to say we got done into last week here. And so that's a big thing because, as you know, in Louisiana, agriculture community is a big part of our state and my district in particular, for sure. And it's a lot better policy for them. It's the elimination of fraud, waste, and abuse. It's assistance for farmers when they need it. So we can continue to feed America, which is a key component to us maintaining our status as the world's last great superpower.
Now, you were able to, in addition to getting the Farm Bill through, you also got funding for the Border Patrol and for ICE through the House for, as I understand, the next 3 years, really basically the rest of Donald Trump's term in office. That's another big piece of heavy lifting that you had to do without any Democrat support.
Yeah, it's incredible to say it, but there's no Democrat left in Washington, House or Senate, who wants to give $1 of funding, think of it, to border security and immigration enforcement. They literally want to zero out those accounts. So what we did last week was to pass the budget resolution that sets up a reconciliation bill that comes on the heels here very shortly that will do that very thing. So about $70 billion to fund those major agencies that keep Americans safe. And it's so sad that Democrats have chosen to politicize border security, for example, and immigration enforcement when we're just trying to enforce federal law and keep Americans safe. We'll continue to do that. Next week, the theme on Capitol Hill is the annual Police Week, and you'll see Republicans moving more of our priorities. We stand for the men and women who bravely stand for and support and keep the rest of America safe. You put on the badge, you walk the blue line, you're in the military, you're border security, you're a law enforcement officer. We're with you, and the Democrats are going to demonstrate, sadly, once again, they are no longer with you.
Donald Trump has been putting out some pictures of rebranding for ICE, Immigrations Customs Enforcement, to National Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, NICE, so that everybody's going to have to say that you have to defund NICE on the other side. But as I understand, that would take an act of Congress to change the name of ICE to National Immigrations Customs Enforcement. Is that anything you guys are thinking of doing?
It probably would take an act of Congress, but the theme there, what the president wants to communicate, is that there have been reforms and revisions. We're gonna logically apply common sense and enforce federal immigration law. We cannot have dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens floating around the country and doing Americans harm. And that's exactly what we got after 4 years of a wide open border with Biden, Harris, and the Democrats. Stephen, that's what they would do again. If they were ever allowed to be back in charge, they would erase border security and have a wide open flow for dangerous people to come back in the country. So it is nice to enforce federal immigration law. You know why? Because it protects American citizens. It is a most basic function of the federal government. It's protect the citizenry. You remember at the State of the Union address when the president lured the Democrats into the corner and he'd asked the question, not a rhetorical one. He said, stand here in the body today. If you believe the first priority of the federal government is to protect American citizens over illegal aliens, and every Democrat, shockingly to us, stayed seated and did not applaud that. So it tells you everything you need to know.
Absolutely does. Speaker Mike Johnson, we appreciate your time. We know you're very busy. We are praying for you, and we appreciate the work you're doing for our country.
Thank you, brother. Great to talk to you, and we'll see you home very soon.